So, Pastor Tobi Adegboyega, even though some people said we should strip off the pastor of his name, of him totally, but I choose not to. I still want to call him Pastor Tobi Adegboyega. Maybe he affected the lives of the young people in the United Kingdom, and he did so by encouraging them. We can as well call him counselor or motivational speaker or social worker Tobi Adegboyega. Tobi Adegboyega has realized that the Nigerian society where he might end up returning to, if he chooses, he might want to go to some other country. I'm talking about his deportation issue. He has a lot to say. In fact, the question that a lot of people have been pondering about is this: how do you fund your lifestyle? He has the answers to this. In previous talk and conversation with BBC, he came with certain answers that shows that he was taunting or challenging the British government, asking them to show and prove evidence of mismanagement of the 1.8 million pounds that he claimed. I'm talking about the Charity Commission now. He spoke at length and he said till today they have not been able to get this done. Talking about his immigration status, he said, well, it is true I came in some years back, about 20 years ago, and within that period of time, I was expecting that my uncles, aunties, they were going to regularize my position. They had told me that, don't worry, things are done, things are going on, and all of that, promises. Later, he realized that nothing was being done. That's what he's saying. He said he had to get up as a man. He said he came in at the age of 25. He was still a boy in his mind. So he said he had to jump up to do things for himself. He tried to regularize his position. And I think ever since then, it has proved abortive. The Home Office, that is immigration, have ordered Tobi Adegboyega sort of to take his bag and leave. He had attended the immigration tribunal where he said he was in the presence of about 6 Caucasian, I'm talking about British Caucasian judges, and he was there and he was grilled for over 6 hours. He said, who does that? On what? The thing is this, the British government, within them, they know something is wrong, but they cannot lay their fingers on it. I will be talking more, but first, let us listen to Tobi Adegboyega speaking now to the Nigerian press. And you know they are going to grill him. They are going to ask questions. Like and share. Tap on the subscribe button.
Thank you so much for joining us tonight.
Good evening, Shell.
Let's begin the conversation. You are a pastor. That is what a lot of people know you for. But in the Christendom, in the Christian community globally, there are those who will say you need to establish your calling. How were you called? Where did you get a calling? And how did you start this ministry of yours?
Well, I came to the UK 2005, but I'm a pastor's son from Nigeria, and I've been preaching since I was 8 in my dad's church. And so the details of where I was called, I think God's call over a person's life is based on the need of a generation. So what I've done and what I yielded to was the need for a generation, especially those that I met in what you will call the diaspora. I met kids that were going off rail, kids from Nigerian descent killing themselves over drug trade, 14-year-olds, 15-year-olds. And I responded to the call of my community at the time, Queens Road, Peckham, 2005. That was about 20 years ago. So to detail and dovetail my call, if anybody would ask, I want them to remember that Martin Luther King Jr. was a pastor. And so the manifestation of our call is response to the generational call, the pressing issue of each day.
So the question will be, the manner in which you operate your church has been described as unorthodox. Something that is
Right.
sometimes strange to how Christianity or the Christian church in several places are being run. Why do you decide to run your own church in a way that has caused a stir in the Christendom?
Okay, the intention was not to cause a stir. The intention was to be effective. The current Pentecostal movement, which is just about the Azusa Street Pentecostal movement, which is just about 100-year-old, caused a stir. So the call of the day, times are never the same forever. So they can say it's unorthodox, but the question is it effective? Did it get people out of gangs? Did it get knives off the street? When I came to the UK, and still till recent years, pastors' kids were gang leaders. It's public knowledge. I took these guys off the street, and we realized that it's not just taking them off the street. You have to now create things for them to do. I understand that that is unorthodox. It is strange. It doesn't look like the church. But right there where the churches were, people were killing themselves on those streets. We can't turn a blind eye at that. I think that would be unfair to the name of Christ and to the kingdom takeover, which the church is supposed to be about. The church is not about gathering, it's about kingdom, making sure God's kingdom spreads through the earth and through all industries.
Your character and the manner in which you portray yourself, luxury, expensive cars, expensive watches, there are those who say these are some of the traits that makes people think, wait a minute, is this a pastor in the real sense of it? Why do you exhibit those traits?
Well, I'm a pastor, but I'm also Tobi first. So I'm not sure about expensive clothes. I just wear clothes. And like every other person who put on their clothes and go to parties or wherever they go to, I put on clothes. But most importantly, in the BBC documentary in 2020, they explored, they came to my house to see the work we're doing. They were in my house for many days. That is real investigation. And then contacted to know, why do you do these things? And I said to them, again, when we came, we saw how the drug dealers attracted a lot of young people. We wanted to divert their attention from drug dealers to leaders who are effective in the community. And it's produced the results we wanted. We took 63 knives off the street in 2018. We doubled that in 2019. And that is double the figure of what the Metropolitan Police are doing. And I support the Metropolitan Police. They are very effective. But we did way more. And they attest to these things. My system is my system. My look is my look. I don't want to be someone else. I don't want to dress like them. And I said on BBC, what is the price of a clothes to private jet? So a person, and I'm not disputing however a person decides to spend their money, but what is a clothes to a jet? Really? What is a clothes to the crown the Catholic Pope wears? It's $10 million.
Let me ask you, you've been seen at nightclubs where perhaps those who say these are places you often find unbelievers, people whom you will say does not portray the Christ-like, like the book of Acts of the Apostles, where those who saw those who were following Jesus in Antioch said, these are people who look like Christ. And then those who will say, does this portray what you preach? A pastor in a nightclub dancing to worldly music, as people would describe it? How do you explain such?
Okay, first of all, I've never been seen in a nightclub. That is the figment of the imagination of certain people. I've never been seen in a nightclub. It's not happened once before. I've been seen in restaurants with some of my friends who are musicians from Nigeria. They come, we go eat, but certainly not in a nightclub. However, I must also point out that those who are well do not need physicians. I've had a 20-year record of staying true to the message of Christ that we preach. We've seen many lives change. We've raised leaders. Our houses, we have 50 houses across the nation. You will see young, God-fearing pastors. Last week, Sunday, we ordained about 32 new young pastors with a standard of conduct. So, and that is because they've been following their leaders. Some of them are top scientists in the nation now, some of them CEOs. Well, I took them from prison. I took them from gangs. That is the thing people should focus on. But I've not been seen in nightclubs. Nobody can come up with evidence of that.
Let me ask you, there are those who will say if you are a true Christian leader, you need to have someone who has mentored you or someone who is saying as your spiritual father. Who is yours?
That's my father. I have a father. I have a biological father, Prophet Dr. Adegboyega. I follow the Pentecostal move very much. I'm probably the most versed person in Pentecostal move in Nigeria and in the US. At my age, I think I will be a leading figure in authority on that. And I've followed that for a long time. And there are names I don't want to mention, but I have a father. I grew up, I preached my first message at the age of 8, and I've been preaching the same thing ever since then. So if I still believe the concept of spiritual father as portrayed by the Nigerian church, I'm not sure I do so. But I have people that I talk to, people that I weigh doctrine, people that I debate doctrine with to know what is sound and what is not sound. And I'm always open to correction.
Are you worried that sometimes your message is seen as negating your lifestyle, the manner in which your association with people? Are you confusing people in the manner you move?
No, actually, if people were true to the gospel of Christ, they will realize that they call them friends of sinners. That's what is in the Bible, isn't it? Friends of sinners and all these things. And that's his name. And he spoke to a generation. He said, what should we do with this generation? He said, when we came, the Son of Man came dancing and eating, you called him names. Another one came, Elijah came, and he was in the wilderness, looking boring, looking whatever way you want to call it, and they still didn't accept it. So I can't be concerned about how people view things. Opinions are cheap, facts are sacred. And so the fact of the work is, if you come close to us, you'll see the result. The country cannot deny it. There is no prime minister that can deny it. There is no leader in this nation right now that can deny the result of the work we've done. When the Metropolitan Police leadership came to the church, that was about 3 years ago, they sat down, they were in the church, it's public knowledge. They asked us to come. Normally, dignitaries go to church to associate in UK, to associate with black people. No, they came to learn. They invited me to teach them, then they came to learn. It is our result. How many lives have been saved? How many knives did we take off the street? How many businesses did we create for this economy? How many taxpayers' money did we save them? Because they spend millions on one homicide. We took many of them out of that lifestyle and we gave them a better lifestyle. The results speak louder than the system that we use. Our system is different.
Let me ask you, is Park Nation a cult group?
It is not a cult group. Cults don't operate in the open. We operate in the open.
Apart from your father, whom you say is your spiritual mentor, who in Nigeria is also one person that you would say you are modeling your lifestyle or your ministry after?
I would rather not. I would rather not model. I love them all, and I'm sure we have a movement that is fading away. We have a movement that is passing away. That doesn't mean it's wrong. It's just that there are new frontiers. The people that are there now, they were new frontiers, and I stand on the path that there is a change needed, and we're all standing for the change, the remodeling of the church, because I believe in the church of Christ. However, I also believe that the status quo must change, and we are new frontiers for what the new church of Christ will look like.
And who are these people? You said there are a few of them that you look up to.
I don't think I'll mention them because I respect, not look up, I respect people. I respect those who lead the cause for change, societal change, not just forward change.
In 2005, you arrived in the UK.
Yeah.
But in all of these years, the UK judges have described your stay in the UK as illegal, stating that your claims about your ministry and work there are, quote, grossly inflated, quote, hyperbolic, and lack substantive evidence. How do you explain or maintain your stay without regularizing your immigration status in the United Kingdom? Are you staying illegally there?
No, and that is the misleading part of the report. We had a 7-hour tribunal, 7 hours. And in the tribunal, I was given about a few minutes to talk about any immigration stuff. They wanted to talk about Spark Nation. And we defended the honor of Spark Nation, which is not even why we were there. And so it is not illegal to still have a case in court, to put facts on the table. Judges may disagree and they may not be wrong, but that is why we have a system that continues to query and make inquiries into things until certain facts are established. But I can assure you right now that these facts are being established, is seen more clearly, and we are winning on every side.
But in that court, you argued against deportation. If you say deportation is not the meat of the matter, you cited community contributions and you're married to a British citizen. You said, given the tribunal's decision against you, that you are not worried. Do you believe this reflects systemic bias or your failure to present sufficient evidence?
It's many years case. And the reason why we suspect systemic biasness is you can't say your claims are inflated without giving me the proof as to why. Your own institutions, the Metropolitan Police from the Scotland Yard, sat down in the church. Do they go to churches? Why are they there? The Metropolitan Police from the Scotland Yard gathered all the charities in the UK, the major charities, and asked them to go to Spark Nation. I wrote for the Home Office. I wrote solutions for the Home Office. I was part of the Race Disparity Committee for number 10 during Theresa May's days. Why am I there? I've never wanted to work with government. I don't like working with government on some occasions. Why are we there? When we got to Croydon, we never knew where Croydon was. When we got there, we reduced knife crime by 50%. It's on record. So if you then turn that against me and say they are inflated, I'm asking, show me the proof that they are inflated. Because we cannot just base truth on subjective matters. Truth must be backed with fact. We have facts. We have, and more than all the paperwork, we have lives. I've got the largest followership of young people still till today, after all the persecution for more than 10 years. 10 years we've been persecuted without one single proof, allegations without one indictment. So why should we not suspect biases?
Well, in all of this, why would you say, or what makes you think that there is a system bias against you? Why do you think that you are being singled out in all of this?
We had a situation where people believed that I was supporting a certain political party. We were in Croydon doing our work. All the political parties were in our church. The first letter, by the way, that we received from Charity was that I should not be biased towards a political party. They didn't do no investigation. What they didn't know was the service they were referring to, all major political party holders and seekers were in that service. One person, because the person believes that my agenda was to go against the gay community. That's his belief. And from that day, we at the reconciliation meeting, leaders, pastors in the UK were there. But he believes, and he wrote it, so it's public knowledge, that my evangelical zeal was to make sure that the gay community in that area does not survive. Now, he took a dossier, according to him, of evidences against the church to the sacred ground of the parliament in the UK. And they submitted it to the to the Internal Affairs Minister or something like that, who submitted it to the police. And the police came back to say they can't even investigate one thing because it's all nonsensical. That is why we believe that the same person, because he's an MP, he's the same person sitting behind these things, making sure that he's not defeated. But we've said, and I said on BBC, that if there is any honor left in a system like this, what such men should do is to apologize, unless you are saying the police authority of Great Britain is inept, which will be quite unfortunate.
So, in essence, there are those who allege that you frolic or you have a close association with the Conservative Party. Do you?
Well, there are those. I was sitting right at the back of the former minister in one of their convention. And what I've always done is to make sure that I advocate for our community, the Black community in the UK, to make sure when those, because remember, I'm taking these guys out of a certain lifestyle. I cannot just dump them into the hope of going to heaven. We're still living on earth. So those who want to go into politics, those who want to go into business, I have to create relationships that can help them. So I was in that convention, and I was given the privilege to sit behind the Prime Minister at the time, the Conservative Party. We had issues, and we invited other parties, and the Conservatives came to try to help. But we are way above any political party right now. We have a much solid system.
You're falling apart, falling out rather with the Conservative Party. Do you think that is exactly, in stating it plain and clear, that is exactly the problem you're having right now?
Not at all. The person attacking us is not even Conservative Party, but it's another party. So, but area by area, I believe completely that our problem was politically motivated, and the facts are there. I'm not saying things without facts. We were not fighting the gay community at the time. We were not fighting, but yes, I had people who wanted to be in that seat, in that area, and I still believe they are more qualified. And so, can you imagine that over the years, you're saying Spark Nation has this allegation of millions of pounds. You have not indicted anybody. The police has not invited anybody. And you now, after all that, you're not touching me. You then go into deportation. Does that not look like you're looking for anything? And then, not just the deportation, the moment they write the judgment, it has to be broadcasted. People have issues every day. I can mention Nigerian leaders or UK leaders or even Russian leaders or leaders from other countries that have had this problem in the UK. But Pastor Tobi's one has to be broadcasted, has to be written, the whole world has to know. And so that's why we believe what we believe.
Are you afraid of deportation?
Not in any way. I've been here for 20 years. People should go and ask. My records here are clean. I stand tall above the nations. Not one single criminal offense. After all the noise. So we've achieved what we need to achieve in the UK. 140 businesses is what I've added to this economy. It's public knowledge. 140 plus businesses. And so to live anywhere else would be a pleasure, but I'm going to get what rightfully belongs to us.
You said you're not afraid of deportation, and that two shoes could sustain you in Nigeria for years if you were deported. This suggests that you have some confidence in your wealth. What is your net worth? What is your major source of income?
Well, I don't have no net worth. What I know for sure is that I've raised people. They've done well. I brought them from prison and made them into multi-millionaires. The testimonies are public. I've raised people. I've sent them. They've become CEOs of large corporations in the UK. So I'm not a person that believes in wealth. I believe in people, and I've raised a lot of people. If anybody knows us around the world, they will know us for raising people, having men and women. I've supported over just the last 2 years, 250 SMEs in Nigeria with 1 million naira each. Those businesses are doing well. The shoe one, I was just playing about.
So, I mean, you've not said what your source of income is really. What is it? What do you do for a living?
The source of income, we started businesses. We raised companies here. And so what we do is that we invest in little businesses and watch them grow. That is what sustains us here, even as a church, because we don't take tithe and offering. We watch these businesses grow, these businesses pay us back, and we grow thereby.
Let me ask you, your case is not yet settled. That means deportation issue are still on a discussion and argument. The issues relating to the finances of the church is also still an argument. What is your faith, and what do you make of what is going on? It does look like your faith is hanging in the balance.
No, no, my faith is settled. I can assure you of that. But let me start with the finance one. The finance situation of the church is long gone. You cannot investigate an organization for 4 years and close the case, and anybody is still peddling that is happening. No, on the BBC interview, which was 1 hour, by the way, I asked them to ask the charity, if you are saying these things, which I then discovered that the BBC didn't even read the charity report. The charity never mentioned fraud. We are asking the Charity Commission, and the BBC has written to them to say, what exactly is this allegation? It can never be substantiated.
But the allegation are to the tune of about 1.87 million pounds, which is linked to Spark Nation, and the allegation is that you're lacking transparency. And the Charity Commission, this is not the first time, we're seeing at least 1 or 2 Nigerian churches that are linked to Nigerian owners or founders that have been shrouded in this kind of controversy about their books and transparency. Have you been able to settle the dust in terms of explaining how these funds are being spent, how these books are being are judged in terms of how you executed the books, in the inflows and the outflows? Are you able to settle it tonight?
We've settled it, but I can settle it with you right now. The Charity Commission did not close us down for that. What happens is when you register as a charity, you have to prove that you can make £5,000 a year. Now, we don't take donations, and we've explained to them, you cannot ask someone from another religion to come and audit a church as unorthodox as us. You've got to give us the chance to be heard. They saw it, so they closed it down because the following year, we didn't take tithe and offering. We stopped doing that. And so it is lawful for them also to then shut us down because we are not doing £5,000 a year as donation, because that's not what we want to do. These things are consistent with what charities say. The adding up of 1.9 is the figment of imagination. Charity never mentioned that.
It was the UK Home Office, actually. It was the UK Home Office who raised that concerns about the financial misconduct with allegations of 1.87 million pounds.
BBC has now done a documentary, and if the UK Home Office has any honor remaining, they should challenge what I'm saying, any bit of honor. So don't let's be deceived that because it's UK Home Office, they don't know their fact. But the question is this: this is an advanced country. There is 1 point something missing. It's been 4 years. Who has been invited by the police? Who has been indicted? How can you say 1 point something million is not accounted for, but be free, you're okay? But deportation, we'll make sure we hold you on this. We've asked them for facts and figures, which they are still lacking. BBC themselves have written them, they are quiet. And guess what? They'll be quiet forever because it's not true. They did not add these figures up right. We have 10 years of receipts with the charity. There is no black organization. I don't know the pastors you're talking about, but I can guarantee you that as far as the UK is concerned, none of them is as popular as me. So there is nothing I can do in hiding. Absolutely nothing. Everything is everywhere.
When are you regularizing your immigration status in the UK? When would you do that?
It's been regularized right now. The people that did what they did, they are all running helter-skelter, and you've got to give it some more time. I believe by all means, they just wanted to embarrass the work. What they want to do is to see young people go back to the streets, get back into drug dealing, because there's nothing they can hold up on me. They've now printed that out, but I can assure you that the lawyers and their lawyers are talking, and the right apologies will be done in the right time. I can assure you of that.
Let me, you mentioned something relating to homosexuality. You are a pastor. What is your view based on biblical teachings on homosexuality?
Well, I know this will get me into more trouble, but I don't mind. I already have enough trouble. I believe it's a man and a woman. I have no doubt about that. I have no shaking about it. And I was one of the first people to reject, when we were still in SC1, 6BD to reject the notion that the churches have to join different couples. It's not going to happen to us. And I understand that this will also get me into more trouble. Who knows what they will come up with tomorrow? But definitely, I believe it's a man and a woman, and a man and a woman it should be.
Let me quickly ask you. SPAC Nation has faced a lot of allegations of cult-like behavior from former members of your church, including claims of manipulation and coercion. There are, in fact, those who said they are afraid and too scared to come out because they fear that gang members are going to come after them. They, in fact, some of them allegedly say, you are dangerous. If they come out, you're going to come after them. How do you explain this?
All I can say, and BBC asked me the same question, is there are disgruntled members in every organization, the BBC, Barclays Bank, any company in the world. When people leave, they have a lot to say sometimes. But what we did was we set up a panel, independent panel, to look into people's claims so that we can correct and become a better organization ourselves. I asked the UK government, when Catholic Church have their allegations, which they still have till now, did you shut them down? No. We set up correctional things so that we can this is thousands of people. There will be issues. Nobody came out. And we've asked the government, when people have issues, do you report to the police or you report to internet or BBC? These people went to BBC, or BBC called them. Some went to internet, whereas we could solve these things even after BBC. Nobody showed up. There's not one single fact.
Welcome back. Now, the truth be told, in the UK, amongst the melanated people, what do I mean? Amongst the brown-skinned people. I don't refer to melanated people or brown people as black. Black is the absence of color, and calling yourself black is the most stupid thing ever. You might say you are black and proud. That's your own thought. Now let us delve right into it. In the United Kingdom, same as the United States, there is a problem, a cancer hitting deep into that society, that community, or that race called the melanated people. They allow themselves to be drawn in. Yes, maybe inequality, lack of opportunities, and some other underlying psychological issues emanating from their parents, from the struggles of their parents, a lot of things. Well. Adegboyega said he noticed these things. In fact, he said some of these things came as a result of broken homes, single mothers who are looking for opportunities to be single mothers so as to collect or receive more benefits, stuff like that. And a society where majority of the melanated people, be it from the Caribbean, Jamaican, or from Africa, have this way of disciplining their children. But over there, the laws are different. It became a problem to many of them. They did not know how to go about it, so their children became wayward. Majority of them on the streets. Gangs. Unaliving each other. Becoming unproductive. It became a big problem. It became a menace. In the UK, they call them the knife boys. They will unalive you to steal your bicycle. They will unalive you to take your sneakers off your leg. The same in the United States of America, where you can be unalived for your sneakers. You can be unalived for a piece of jewelry that is not worth it because they have access to this. Some are even told you have to unalive someone, you have to hurt someone before you can be admitted into our gang. Now, Tobi Adegboyega, he saw all of these things and he felt I can add value. Now, where did this come from? Is it that Tobi Adegboyega went to the place of prayer, hoping that God was going to help him sort out his immigration problem? I'm talking about that starting point. What was that thing that prompted him to call himself a pastor and engage in this? That's what. Could it be that he was in a place of prayer? And now he has gotten that title, pastor, hoping that God was going to help him. You saw the video where he said God has not done anything for him. What prayer? God, it shows that he neither believed in prayers, he believed in something else, and he simply looked for pastor title as an avenue, or he had prayed, but nothing worked, which could be based on several reasons. Nothing worked for him. Maybe he had rechanneled his efforts into something else to help him achieve and attain. I don't know. Now, could it be that Adegboyega got himself involved in this pastor thing, community work, because he felt by so doing, it will be able, that activity will be able, that service will be able to justify reasons why the Home Office, the immigration, should permit him to stay in the United Kingdom. Anyway, Tobi Adegboyega went on with his work. The questions a lot of people have asked is this: how was he able to transverse the United Kingdom without documentation? Was he using someone else's document to move around? Because you need that to get license to drive. You need that to go to the hospital. Whatever it is that you need in the UK, you will need your documents. You will need identity. What was Tobi Adegboyega all through this period? What was he using to get all of these things done? That's a big question. A big question that the Home Office needs to clarify. Is it that he was given a temporary permit and eventually they refused to give him his stay, permanent resident, or whatever it is that he's requesting for? Is that what it is? Is that they turned in and said, look, man, you can no longer stay in this country? Then, if that is it, there's something that a lot of people have observed. Tobi Adegboyega has never traveled out of the United Kingdom. So, it could be that he doesn't have means to move out, but he was given a resident in the United Kingdom to remain in the UK alone whilst his case is being looked into. Is that what it is? We know that there are certain rules, established rules, applicable to everyone. So how was he able to do all of these things? Now, people said Tobi Adegboyega is married. I'm like, how? How is Tobi Adegboyega married to a British person? Are they cohabiting? How can you be married? Or maybe he did the traditional marriage as in Nigerian, African, parent to parent. Because he can never be married without proper documentation in the United Kingdom. How is that possible? How did he get married? With what? With an expired resident? If he had tried to get married with an expired visa, he would have been picked right there and deported. So, what is really going on? Now, Tobi Adegboyega has a child. So I'm kind of thinking, was he trying to regularize his position via family member of a British citizen? Is that what it is? Well, he said he appeared at the tribunal and talks. He was grilled here and there. They can't find nothing to nail him. You know, he said all of that. Of course, Tobi Adegboyega never did anything directly. He did not. You hear what he said now in this discussion, this interview. He said all we did was to invest in businesses, small businesses, and we watch it grow. So let us go down into the nitty-gritty of it, like I explained in previous analysis. What I think Tobi Adegboyega did, and of course, attached to what we know, when he started this church thing, of course, he needs money to pay for whatever venue. Slowly, he got the interest of people. He delved into taking the youths off the streets. So these youth were being taken off the streets. Those that had been imprisoned, all of them, he gave them the same sense of belonging, that hype. I want to put on designer clothes. I want to drive flashy cars. It brought them into confidence. And then it resulted to the age old fleecing package. Bring money. But these guys don't have money. Are they going to go around robbing? All right, we are going to give you guys a better, clearer, official way of getting money. Let us bring you guys into the system again. Let us reunite you to the system. And he got them in. Go and take loan. Now, I read comment section. Some people say, but blood is for free. People donate it for free. What we heard is that there are certain blood types that you can be paid for. Because we heard from some of these people. Now, Tobi Adegboyega, in some of the videos where he would rant and talk, he said all of those people that went to report him to the police, they should try it again. They should go again. That the police confirmed that all of what they have said are not true. How? The United Kingdom is a country of law. Morally, it might be wrong, but in the face of the law, how can you prove that Tobi Adegboyega manipulated you, a grown-up person of 25, 30, a grown-up person of 18, 19, to go take loan and sign on your behalf? No, you can't. If you go ahead to say Tobi Adegboyega asked you to go and donate blood, and you stupidly went to donate blood and brought the money to the church, and you don't have evidence of that, then you're on your own. So I think those are some of the whatever. And also, he said we did business and we watched it grow. The thing is this: some of those people also said that they were made, their identity, their information was used to open some of the small businesses. Where is it opened? Is it in India? Is it some other businesses is it businesses that are not physical businesses, online businesses, something that you can track to the dark web? Now, Tobi Adegboyega is into cryptocurrency, so he understands computer. You understand these things. So is that what it is? Like, I'm going to use your identity to do this. I'm going to use your identity. He had come across avenues and opportunities, probably online, to make certain money, and he needed identity. Some of these people, according to what we heard, went into the bank to get money. On Daddy Freeze's platform, which we know that Daddy Freeze is into Adegboyega because of the gifts and all of that. But I don't want to dwell on Freeze. I think a lot of people know how Freeze operates and his life with the hush puppy thing and all of that. The thing is this: Adegboyega never put his name on this thing. These people went to get loan. He said on Freeze's show, how much loan can he give to 18, 19-year-olds, 20? How much can they give to them? They will give to you according to your capacity, according to according to your credit score, and according to what you can. So a 50,000 pounds here, 100,000 pounds here, a 300,000 pounds here, all of it together. That's how these guys probably must have brought in this cash. And they brought it in. Probably invested into his cryptocurrency or invested into some other businesses. And these businesses started multiplying. Tobi Adegboyega cannot say, I sold our property in Nigeria. That's where I got this money from. We invested it. So it's a collective thing. I like what he said. They said, we. What we did is we. So it is not him. It's not him alone. Other people came into it. Who are these people? Members of his church, Spark Nation. The truth of the matter is this: it is not everyone in Spark Nation that, let's use the word, betrayed, went rogue, even though that is not the proper. It's not everyone in the church that reported Tobi to the institutions? No. Some people are still with him. The people with him, are they the diehard, or they are the people that have made something out of some of these businesses? I don't know. Who knows what will happen at the end of the day? He has concluded, even if they deport me, although he's trying to make it clear, which I understand what he's trying to do right now, he's trying to look at the lacunas. I read a comment, someone said, as long as Tobi Adegboyega stays in the UK for a certain period of time, he will now have a lacuna. There is a kind of lacuna that you can tap into and argue this with the Home Office. What we also heard is that he has finished up, consumed all opportunities. Having appeared before the tribunal, they said there is nowhere else you want to take your matter to. They have said, well, from the look of things, sorry, we don't want you in this country. You will have to leave. Well. He said, even if they chase me out of this country, is there no other place that I can go? There are other countries that are even requesting, writing to us that they want us. So what? So it means that there is, leave our country. But he is making it appear like, no, there is nothing of such. There is nothing of such. They have not said that I should leave or whatever. I'm here and they know the right thing to do. They know the right thing to do. They have to grant me my request. I don't know what will become of him. But appearing on Nigeria's television, I think he got an idea from some of his friends. He will need to correct, according to him, I'm thinking, the impression. And also, if he's to land in Nigeria, he doesn't want to come to Nigeria with that kind of image. He wants to appear larger than life. What do you think? Drop your comments.